You a reason to come. The world's greatest radio. We give you a reason to stay. Radio, the way it should be heard. You got the power.
The views and opinions expressed are those of the host and guest and not necessarily those of TalkTainmentRadio.com, the management, the staff, or K&E World Network, LLC.
Alrighty, man. Good evening and welcome to TalkTainmentRadio.com. When you hear that particular music, you know that you're listening to Talkin Sports with Mr. Bobby and Trent, and we have a very special guest in studio tonight, a relationship specialist. Yes, even relationships in sport. But we have Miss SHARON Brooks. She's in the house. Say hello, SHARON.
Hello there.
Woo! I'm telling you now. Now, you know, the last show 2 weeks ago, we talked about Houston. And, of course, I was down in Dallas last week, and I got stuck in Dallas thanks to you-know-who sitting next to me in the right with Mr. Trent McMurray. Yeah, but I think Southwest Airlines, they were very good in how they treated the brother. But I had to go to Chicago, Trent, your old stomping grounds, too, and got stuck up there.
Hey,
you put it on me, man.
No, you ain't putting that on me.
Yeah,
okay.
What was that girl's name?
I don't know what you're talking about, Mr. Bobby.
Anyway, listen, you're listening to TalkTainmentRadio.com. We go where you go on the world's greatest radio, and now you're in touch with Talkin Sports with Mr. Bobby, and this is radio the way it should be heard. Remember, you got the power. You actually do have the power, and you can call in at 1-877-932-9766, or you can do this, which is the way that we would prefer you do that. You can go to the TalkTainmentRadio.com homepage and make sure that you hit the listen live button. That's what we want you to do. And then you can go down and you can hear the show live, which is the way that we want you to do. And we will also rebroadcast the show. You can also do this for right now. You can go to Facebook, YouTube, and then type in the word Talktainment, hit the space bar and type in the word radio. Scroll down to Talktainment number 2 live on YouTube and watch live the broadcast. And you get to see some eye candy. Yeah, you will get to see that. Yeah. And I'm not talking about Trent and I either. Okay.
There you go.
There you go. Relationships, Trent. That's going to be our program today. SHARON, she specializes in relationships. But Trent, what's going on with the organized union, particularly the NFL unions? And then are unions really beneficial for sport, or do the Republicans or whoever have complete control of that? What's your thought on that?
At the end of the day, you know who has control of it, Mr. Bobby. You follow the money, you'll figure it out.
You always said that.
But, each sport has a players association: baseball, soccer, NBA, NFL.
Yes.
The National Football League. I truly, which was actually the Players Union, was founded in 1973.
That's right.
Personally, I don't think that it is in the best interest of the players.
What? You don't think the union is?
I do, but I don't, because at the end of the day, here's the bottom line. It's all about health care. And you know as well as I know, Mr. Bobby, you have to play, especially in football, at least 13 years to be even tenure, to get your 100% retirement and pension.
Yes.
Okay? The things that these athletes go through, they should have health care for life.
Okay.
Players Union won't even touch it.
There has to be a reason why, and I know you're not privy to the meetings that go on there, but why would you think that they won't touch that? And please don't say it's a money thing.
Well, it's a part of it's a money thing. The other thing is the brutalization of this sport, okay? What we don't hear about are the life-changing injuries and after effects after playing football that some of these athletes have suffered, and they suffer it their entire life after they leave the game.
Okay.
And the NFL knows this, just like they said they didn't know anything about concussions.
They said.
Yeah. Right, until it was bought out and they had to address it.
By that doctor.
By the doctor, yes. So, and it's the same way with the health care. They know that these guys are going to sustain debilitating injuries for the rest of their life.
All right.
They don't want to pay for it.
They don't want to pay for it.
And they caused it.
And they caused it. Okay, now, if I remember correctly, I think it was Marvin Miller who started the unions in sports with the baseball.
Yes.
Baseball teams.
Yes.
Yeah, so I got to give he's deceased now.
Right.
But prior to him coming in there, the owners could do anything they want to. You remember the Curt Flood case? I think you're young enough to remember that.
Yes, I remember
and
Curt Flood
how
case.
they treated him and,
That's right.
and so forth. It was really a slave mentality that they have. You either do as I say do or you were cut.
Absolutely.
You were gone out of baseball.
Right.
Now, Curt Flood actually opened the door for everybody, white and black players. You know, even had to go to the Supreme Court to get the ruling on that of baseball's unfair labor practices. And then the other sports unions became or gave birth to that particular situation. So and it's good that you have your opinion and I'm going to have mine. I think baseball unions are necessary because of the fact that in my years of experience, it seems like management always likes to have control over the situation. Now, I'll tell you what, let me ask Sharon this question. Sharon, you're hearing Trent and I talk about it, and I know you're not really into baseball, but you are in relationships. Just on the outside, and as from a woman's perspective, speaking from the relationship angle, you have employee and then you have management. And prior to the Curt Flood situation, who opened up baseball gates for this collective bargaining and so forth, or the right for the players to move around, the owners had complete control of that. But after the Supreme Court issued in favor of the players, then the players could go different places. Just on the outside and from a woman's perspective, what do you think of that in terms of relationship?
So you're talking about if this is my husband who's playing, I definitely think that he should be paid for that. I mean, some people probably think that, they get paid enough and they can take care of their own injuries or whatever. But when you're talking about a life injury, which could affect the wife.
Yes,
too.
Exactly.
And so, speaking from her point of view, he needs to get paid. He needs to have that health insurance, etc.
Now, what about the relationship between the player and management? How could that be improved, or maybe I'm wrong? Management needs to have the dominant role in that. Is there a possibility, or would it be better if they could work together?
Well, it's always better when you can work together. There's no question about that. But management has its place. Somebody's got to be large and in charge.
That's true.
Okay, and then one more angle. I know relationships between a man and a woman are different, but are there any similarities between a relationship between management and the player? Because it is a, quote, business relationship, which is, it could be a little different from a relationship that a man has with a woman. I'm just asking.
Just asking me like that off the cuff, I would have to say that trying to compare that with relationships between a man and a woman, you got to decide who's going to be the boss. That's how I see that.
There you go. Absolutely.
Boss, huh?
That's right.
I think I'm going to leave that one alone. I may have went somewhere else.
No, just keep moving.
Wow. Okay. Alrighty. Let's do this, Trent. There's been a shakeup in the NBA, which we're going to hit now and then hit again later. The big shakeup has been with LeBron James going to the Los Angeles Lakers. Now, I believe you and the man behind the desk over there didn't think that he would do that. Now that he has done that, how will that change the landscape of the NBA?
Well, that's okay. He's going to the West Coast.
Yes.
So basically what he plans on doing is making sure Golden State never plays for another championship again. Now, this year is a wrap. They may get back there. But next year is where you need to keep looking.
Okay.
Because there is a plethora of superstars that are free agents next year.
So you're saying this is the first move of a
many.
big move?
Yes, absolutely.
So now, because he has moved there, does that make the landscape of the NBA favor the West?
That's a tough question, because when I say that, I look at the East and you got Boston.
Yeah, but Kyrie is kind of, maybe not wanting to play there, or there's something going on there. Philadelphia seemed like a beast.
Yes, right.
With Embiid and Simmons.
Exactly.
All right, well, who else you have there?
That's it.
That's right.
That's it.
Right. So I don't see Detroit.
No.
Charlotte, Miami.
No.
Atlanta.
No.
Nolans.
No.
Since Boogie left.
Boogie's gone.
Yeah.
Right.
So in Indiana, come on, man.
No. And Houston. No. They're there. But
Houston, yeah.
They got nothing.
Maybe Columbus, huh?
Yeah, right. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. We'll get into that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Leave that alone.
Yeah. Mid-Ohio. Yeah. Never mind.
Leave that exactly.
Leave
Keep
that
it
alone.
moving.
Okay. All right. Let's do this. Before we get into our special segment, Tell Me Something Good. TalkTainmentRadio.com is a 24/7 no-charge worldwide broadcasting facility with hosts delivering on various topics such as news and lifestyle, sports, that's what we do, law, health, wellness, religion, politics, and here's one that I would love to share with you. It is called This Is Libby. Now, if you have listened to this show, you know what she can do and what she says, particularly regarding holistic ideas, training, foods, holistic living. You need to tune in and listen to what This Is Libby, what she has to say, and All in the Family with Yolanda Robinson. All these shows are exclusive to TalkTainmentRadio.com. All you have to do is click on programs for the scheduled times. TalkTainmentRadio.com. That's radio the way it should be heard. This is Mr. Bobby along with Trent. You're listening to Talkin Sports on Mr. Bobby. Sheka Khan is at the microphone with her fine self. Oh, Lord, have mercy. Anyway, she's there. And that's that segment we have, Tell Me Something Good. And we have introduced to some and present to others Miss Sharon Brooks. She came down to the studio, Trent. Have mercy.
I see.
Have mercy.
I see.
And she's going to talk about relationships. Sharon, how are you this evening?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
Okay.
Why do you keep doing that?
Because it's that voice. This is so nice, and I always pay attention to voice. I think voice is good. Sharon, you've been in radio before. Before we get into the relationship, how did you really get started in that, and then why relationships?
So I guess I'm going to have to give you an idea of my age to tell you how far back it goes.
It's okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
I was real young then. But this was in the 70s, and my boyfriend went for an interview with Les Brown.
Okay.
Les Brown, all
Les
right.
Brown, and need I say more about Les Brown?
Okay.
Right. Okay, so I went there and I thought, well, this is pretty cool. It's not TV, but it's something, And for some reason, Les Brown approached me, and we started talking, and he said, I like your voice.
See?
Okay.
There it is.
He said, have you ever thought about doing radio? And I said, no, not really. But from there, I started going into the studio. He started working with me, and I was doing ads and the weather. Hi, does this sound familiar? I love a man who comes on in mailman fashions.
Woo! Shut the front door.
Do y'all remember the mailman?
Yes. I'm shaking in my boots now. I ain't got none on.
However, he encouraged me to get into it, and go to school and get into broadcasting and everything. But I was young, and the thought of just sitting in a room by myself, talking to myself, just didn't appeal to me at that time. But, looking back, I wish I had, followed that up. But lucky for Yolanda Harris that I didn't.
Wait a minute. You mean the TV Yolanda Harris?
Yes.
All right. Go ahead, Yolanda.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying she might not be where she was at if I had pursued that career. I'm just saying.
I hear you.
And you asked me about relationships. I'm the type of person, when people start talking about the relationships, I always have an opinion or advice, whether it's asked for or not.
Okay.
So I'm just saying, and it's just interesting to me to hear people's different experiences, and I learn from it. And through the years, I must admit I have learned a lot. I've done research, and so it's just an interesting topic for me.
All right. Trent?
Sharon, when did you get back into radio, and why?
Well, then there's another story. Charles McCrimmon.
Okay.
We've been friends for a while, and when he said he was going to start doing this, he asked me again would I be interested, because he too said he liked my voice.
See, verified. That's it. Verified. Right. That's confirmation.
That's confirmation.
Right.
And he knew my love of talking about relationships and stuff, so it seemed like a good idea to do that, and that was like in 2006, 7, somewhere around in there.
Okay.
I like that song. Chucky's in love. Chucky. Oh, anyway. All right.
My.
Yeah. Ricky Lee Jones. Okay. So now you had a show here on TalkTainmentRadio.com called One Man, One Woman. Was your baby? Talk about that.
One man, one woman.
Ooh.
I couldn't wait to have that venue where I could actually be heard. But the main thing I wanted to do was find somebody who I could work with. I didn't want it to be just a woman's point of view and all about me.
Okay, right.
Okay, because the women want to hear from the men and the men want to hear from the woman.
Right.
So I decided to have my best friend, Ed, to come on with me. I mean, we've known each other for like 30 years.
That's a long time to know
30
somebody.
years is a long time, and he knows more about me than I ever wanted
so
him to
if we want to know, we can just ask Ed.
He better not tell him. He's sworn to secrecy till his grave, and me as well.
Okay.
So we can go at it, and just go at it and still be cool. And it ain't no thing, know, because you want that different. It's not fun to just sit there and listen to somebody agreeing with everything. You want somebody's opinion, and I don't always like your opinion, or I don't always agree with it.
And you don't have to.
And that made it work.
Okay. Trent?
Well, so One Man, One Woman. I remember that show.
We sat in a couple times, didn't we?
Yeah, we sat in on that show.
We sure did.
So with that, what was the most challenging part of hosting a relationship show?
Knowing what you're talking about.
I heard that.
You just can't sit there and just all willy-nilly tell people this and that.
Exactly.
You have to do your research, because it's, like I said, it's not just about me and what I think.
Right.
It's about what is out there, what information is out there, what's the solution. Talk to therapists, talk to people who do this for a living, and it's not just an opinion, it's facts and figures.
Okay.
And so I had to learn that.
Okay.
I was taught that you have to be able to back up what you're saying out there.
Practice what you preach.
This came from this percentage. Somebody call and say, well, where are you getting your information from? You better know what you're talking about.
You better know. Okay, let's go right into that, particularly now, for men over, let's say over 40, which you're over 40, aren't you, Trent?
Yes.
Yeah, you. Okay.
Don't ask me.
You don't look good.
Exactly.
Hey, hello. I mean, you look good.
Hello. Don't Hey, it is what it is.
I'll just ask a lady in Houston. Okay.
Stupid.
Yeah, I know. Anyway. Sharon, what are some dating tips for a man or men over 40?
Dating, it's not always about dinner and roses and all that. Start off a little slower.
Oh, save your money, huh?
No, I'm not saying that.
I'm just messing with you.
Thank you. Although I do hear that, like, why should I spend on somebody I just knew? But no, it's more about just being fun, relaxed, and like coffee. Why does it have to be the big dinner and all that on your first date?
Okay.
That's one tip.
So then that show last night called The Proposal with Lisa Ray on there.
You know what?
Really? But yeah, she was on it.
She was on there.
She was on
I
it.
recognized her voice right away.
Yeah, she was on.
I just didn't understand the age group she had going on.
Yeah, I think she selected the right guy, but when I saw that, I guess it was the first time they saw each other. I thought maybe that was, I'm not trying to get a show any pub, but I thought maybe that was a little bit too forward and too fast for them to go into it. I realize it is a show, but they just met each other, and one guy, man, he tongued her, man.
Really?
Yeah. And
I didn't get to see the end. Who did she pick?
she picked the older.
I
the
thought
guy
she
that
would go with
more-
him because he was 55.
Yeah.
That was more.
Hey, I ain't mad at the brother. I ain't mad at him.
Yeah.
Yeah, the seasoned brother. She picked him or selected him. I use the word pick, and
Right.
it seemed to be pretty good. But anyway, so men over 40. There are certain things that they should do.
Well, before we go that, can we talk a little bit more about this proposal and other shows like that?
Please talk.
Proposal.
You know,
Yeah, we want you
it's
to
called
talk.
the proposal because, like you said,
Yeah.
the way they move so fast. But look at your reality shows, The Bachelorette. She's kissing this dude one minute and kissing another dude the next minute.
She
Look,
can
let's
keep
look
it
at
moving.
Transfer of germs, yes.
and then they spend the night. She spends the night with 3 guys that she picks.
No, she didn't.
She nasty.
Okay.
She nasty.
So, and then you have the love connection.
They
I don't know if
nasty.
you know about that.
No,
show.
I haven't seen that.
You go out on a date, and then with 3 people,
3 people.
and then you pick the one that you want to spend the night with.
I heard of Lurf Twins and Fire spend the night, but not like
It's
that.
just everything is just so quick now.
Yeah, so-
What
yeah.
messages are we putting? Because if the older people are doing, what do we expect
Right.
the younger folks to do?
Exactly.
Because the old
That's
folks
right.
is out here doing
Exactly.
this,
That's-
and of course it's it's entertaining. People are like this, and so they go for it. But it's ridiculous
Okay.
that you're making it seem like it's that simple.
Right.
I ask you a few questions, and now I want to marry you.
Right.
No,
it ain't that easy. You gonna have to work for this.
Yeah, thank you.
You got to work for it. You got to put in.
Well, maybe you
100.
don't. It
Hey,
seems like you don't
hey.
have to work for it
Hey,
anymore.
hey.
It ain't worth it. My
Hey.
father always told me if it ain't worth working for, it ain't worth
That's
having.
right. Hey, this sexual chocolate is, you got to work for
Hey,
this, right? Yeah.
I'm all that
Hey,
and a
come
whole
on.
lot more.
Hey, that's right. You better think
That's
that.
it. I'm a king.
Oh, good to
Okay.
hear. There's
So
some
you
brothers
better-
still out there,
so
Bertha.
you better
Oh,
step
yeah.
as a queen.
Oh, yeah.
Period.
Hey,
If
I'm
you
in-
want to get into this kingdom,
And,
That's right.
and then these women are saying, I'm a queen and I want to find
There
my
you
king.
go.
Well,
There
you
it
got
is.
to represent yourself
That's
as a
right.
queen.
Absolutely.
You can't say that in one breath and the next minute you're in bed with this
right?
guy.
That's true.
Oh, wait a
That's
minute
not a
now.
queen, and I'm
Yeah,
not going to
that's-
say what the other name for that is, but it's
Yeah.
not a queen.
and it ain't the court
Yeah.
gesture.
Trey, what's that second question about
That,
most guys?
Here's the thing. Most guys try to impress a woman, or lay to rap. So
Is that what they call it now, right?
I don't know what they call it.
okay,
I call
okay.
it conversation
Oh,
because
okay.
I'm middle aged and I got no time for drama.
Okay.
So let me ask you this: to be a gentleman, why do women say they want a bad boy?
Because it's exciting.
Oh no, I'm more exciting than a bad boy.
Well, and that's a good thing.
Yeah, plus you ain't got to go to jail.
No, and don't plan to.
And-
Thank you.
And I got a job,
Thank you.
and I got all the toys
What's
that come with the job.
Okay.
My own house.
Oh, okay.
Couple of cars,
Okay.
retirement,
Okay.
health care, the whole nine.
Well, they need you down in Dallas, man.
that's not toys. Those are necessities.
Okay.
the cars are toys.
Go ahead.
Okay. We'll talk later.
Okay.
Okay, getting back to this. The bad boy is exciting, but the thing that I don't understand now is when you're young, and I can't exclude myself from this. Yes, a bad boy is exciting. What I don't understand is when you get older, you should be over that by now. You
Yeah,
should
exactly.
understand the real
Yeah,
meaning of
yes.
a bad boy.
Right,
Okay,
right.
and it's time to move on. But you've got women over 40 and over, and they're still intrigued with the bad. The guy that's not the bad guy is boring.
Yeah, I'm bored. I'll be boring
Even
all
though
day.
he has a house
Hello.
and benefits and all that, he's boring, and that's sad, ladies. You got to wake up and say, put that behind you. That
Okay.
you and it's not so bad to have a bad boy when you're young because you do learn some stuff.
Okay.
But you don't want to marry him.
Okay.
Right.
Man, you get married. Okay, Sharon, well, let me ask you this. Why will women test a man to see if a man may stand up to them? I mean, why is that important, or is it important, or what?
Well, I think it's important because you want to know who you're spending time with.
But
Go ahead, Trent.
But won't you see that by spending time? You ain't got to press a brother to the point where
No.
you back him in the corner. Then he's like, wait a minute, hold up.
I'm
Who
here
you
to-
think you talking to?
I'm here to tell you, you can't look You can't judge a book by its cover.
Yeah.
You can't look at him and say, "Oh, he seems this way." You better ask
Yeah, but
somebody.
that's what I'm
You gotta-
talking. But you can learn that through normal conversation.
No, you can't.
No,
because if we don't ask the right questions, you sure ain't gonna volunteer that information.
So what the hell? I look like an ATM machine? Come on, man.
I'm not saying go that deep, like what's your bank account or something, but you just want to have conversations.
But you're
to find
interested in that
out-
bank account, aren't you?
Yes,
Well,
they
that
are.
comes later. I didn't say you never.
Okay, well then
start off with
okay,
that.
if you get the bank account, then that's coming with benefits. You know that now.
Okay,
No,
brothers,
but-
what do you do to find out about a woman? You don't want to ask her no questions. All you
I
care about is
ask
that she
questions.
looks good.
No, I ask questions. Looks fade.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
I don't want the look.
Exactly.
Well, now don't say that. No, you do
I
want-
won't. But here's
but-
what I'm gonna say. I don't even know if I can say this on the air, but
Well,
I'm gonna
say it on the
anyway,
air.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't want to know what's between there, but I want to know what's between your ears, because if I know what's between your ears, everything else will come.
Come,
Yeah,
come.
yeah, that's
We'll
right.
work that out.
So talk to me. Talk to me.
We gonna work it out. Ain't no doubt about
But
that.
what I'm saying is, if you don't ask certain questions, then down the line you find out something. He's like, "Well, you didn't ask me
You
about
didn't-
that.
right.
You
And
didn't ask, so
I
I'm going
understand
to
that.
ask you." And you might lie, but you can't say I
You
didn't
ask. I'm with you on that.
Okay.
I'm with you.
Okay.
I'm with you on
all
that.
right, all right. So, well, how about this, Sharon? Why do some women feel that it's their responsibility to, quote, FIX a man?
Because that's the maternal instincts in us.
I'm not your child.
Yeah, and you ain't my mother.
And
That's
I'm
right.
not saying it's right. You asked me why.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
It's not
Okay.
right.
Okay.
But that's just the way it is. We are maternal.
Okay.
So when we see something that needs to be fixed,
Wait,
that's our project.
fixed according to who?
To us.
Okay.
And trust me, I'm not saying it's right. I'm just telling you that's
get
the
it.
way it is.
Oh, I get
We're
it.
like, we want to dress you. Now personally, I like it already there.
Thank you.
I ain't trying
Thank
to
you.
dress nobody,
Right. You ain't got.
teach
You
nobody.
don't have to
and all
worry.
that.
That's
Okay.
all on point.
But some women, that's a challenge to them.
Right.
Look what I did. Look at
Right.
him now. You should have seen him before. So to each
No.
his own, and some men are okay with that. Some of them are okay, and some of them do need some help.
Yeah, yeah.
I agree. Some do need help.
I'm breathing
and
heavy
some,
now.
and some need tips. But there's
And
a
that's
lot of
okay.
us. There's a lot of us that already
Got
have
it.
got it, and it's
that's a
there.
good thing.
Okay,
But
well,
yet you want the bad boys.
Yeah,
So
you
you
want
know
the
what?
bad
You
boy.
go out there and pull on the saggy pants and whatever, and at the end of the day,
did you say knee pads?
I said saggy pants.
Oh, okay.
And the bad boy. I mean, there's a place for the bad boy now. I'm not totally ruling that out. Okay.
Wait a minute. Are you saying that
You know
men?
what I'm saying.
No, I don't. I mean, I'm asking.
and I know where that takes
And
place.
Trent, you know what I'm talking about. What is it? A lady in the street?
And,
saying,
that's right. I get you. I'm with
You hear me now?
Yeah,
I hear you.
Hear me now.
that's right.
Hear me now. Yeah.
So I'm not totally ruling out.
I hear
that
you.
way. Okay.
1-877-932-9766.
Lord have mercy.
It sounds like somebody want to be spanked. Anyway.
Getting personal now.
Hey,
Personal.
I don't know. Where you're going. Hey, I want to ask you this. All right, since we're talking about relationships, what does a woman think? What is a man, in your opinion, since you're a relationship specialist, what is a man looking for in a woman?
Somebody that's not nagging him 24/7. That's one thing.
A nagger, huh?
Yeah,
Wait a minute, that was nagger, right? I just want to get my okay, nagger. Okay.
N-A. Okay, please,
Okay.
make that clear.
Make it plain.
Okay, somebody that listens
Yes.
and doesn't want to do all the talking.
Yes.
That can actually. That's both sides, though. We women want that too. We
Yes.
need a man to listen to us. So that's both.
Yeah.
Spontaneity.
Yeah, I was gonna say that.
Do we always have to, do men, just bam, let's do this.
Yeah, we do.
And she can say, well, I know I got to do this.
No, you
and I
don't.
gotta
Come
do
on,
my
you
hair."
with me. I got this.
love
Let's go.
spontaneity.
Get in
I
the
think
car.
You like spontaneity?
Yes, I do.
Who's that made that song? I like a man with a slow hand.
I don't know.
Yeah. Oh.
Now, that's a whole different thing.
Oh, a whole different.
That's
huh?
back to the, well, anyway.
Ooh-wee. Okay.
Yeah, I don't really think men and women are that different in that area. We, like I said, we want to be heard. Men want to be heard. It's just communication, I think.
Yeah.
Finding out what makes you tick.
Yep.
There is no concrete thing that I can say, this is what every woman's take the time to find out what makes it work for your man, and take time to find out what works for your woman.
That right there ends everything. That cancels out the drama, the questions, and everything else.
Why? Why you say that, man?
Because you got to communicate, and you know as well as I do, we as men, we don't communicate as well.
Well, I tell you what.
Words.
I tell you what.
In words.
I think that as you get older, you learn.
That's truth. You have to learn because you mature.
You ask questions.
And women get frustrated because you won't talk to them.
I like what Dr. Dixon said. She said seasoning. Hey, when you hear that music, you know what that means? That means TalkTainmentRadio.com. We go where you go. Check us out on 94.1 WGRN. Podcasts are available. Download the TalkTainmentRadio.com app to your cell and to your tablet. That's radio. Stay right there. We're going to have a couple of more minutes with Sharon, and then we're going to get right back into sports and relationships. All that and more coming up on TalkTainmentRadio.com.
So how's it going?
Beautiful.
Okay, cool.
Absolutely amazing.